This is gonna be difficult. Alright, hi guys. I thought I would come to you with a video about a shift towards compassion for ex-vegans and carnivores. Something that I think is not talked about enough, and it's a cause of divide in the vegan and ex-vegan / carnivore community. We're not as different as you think. For a second, I have two disclaimers before I start off this video. I don't want to talk about vegan point of views in this video. That's not what this video is going to be about. Number one, for just 1 second, let's put animal welfare issues in the back seat. I recognize it's a big topic discussing veganism, but for this video we're talking about compassion for people who are struggling to obtain optimal health or to reverse or tend to certain diseases and illnesses. So, animal welfare in the backseat. I'm not here to push veganism. Yes, there are healthy and noble causes in veganism, and there's a lot of positive things going on. However, before we get to that, we first have to address the thing that is on everybody's mind, is that carnivores are struggling. You know, it's not a choice that comes out of wanting to punish vegans or punish animals. It comes from a choice of wanting to find something better for your body or something to heal your body. So before we can promote veganism, we have to have some empathy for our friends that are carnivores and omnivores if we're ever going to discuss any common ground or change. The second disclaimer that I want to put forward, not just the animal welfare, putting that in the back seat, I do want to address the feelings and needs of vegans because I identify as a vegan, and there are lots of things that I want to argue in this video to promote veganism, but I'm going to try my best to not talk about my point of view, but to only focus on the feelings and needs of our carnivore and omnivore friends. You know, the vegan community will have their own video, and another clip I will address their feelings and needs. This isn't a video to condone or excuse carnism or any animal product consumption. It's more of a video to identify and understand the struggle of people who don't follow a vegan diet. If we are constantly ridiculing and shaming and blaming or casting aside people who don't fall in line with our vegan beliefs, we're just going to cause more divide and resentment, as opposed to coming together, understanding, and possibly influencing each other for the better. So I want to achieve a mutual, satisfying conclusion, as opposed to sort of a dividing, resentful separation. So no more shaming, diagnosing, ridiculing, blaming, or casting aside people who don't follow a strict vegan diet and who don't stay in it for the animals. I want to put my beliefs aside for this video and just hold on to it for a second, embrace another human being and their struggle and their capacity to try to make their lives more livable and just happier and more wholesome, so that we can both walk away satisfied and more connected, as opposed to more divided and resentful. This is about compassion for people eating animal products. Off the bat, this was a difficult exercise. I'm not saying this was easy, especially as a vegan. I have my preconceived beliefs. It took a lot of setting aside my beliefs and walking a mile in the shoes of somebody who is eating animal products and is living a different lifestyle from myself. So it was difficult for me, but I recognize it's so difficult for this carnivore or omnivore person, the struggles they're experiencing. I kind of understood their feelings, I understood their frustrations, and I understood why they do it. So I hope that I can show other vegans or other people who don't necessarily identify with the struggles of carnivores to get a better understanding of what these people are going through. You know, we do need a little more connection and a little less division in this health/vegan/ carnivore community. Again, it's not about condoning or excusing, it's about understanding and empathizing with somebody's struggle. We all have common human struggles. We all have common human needs. Needs for love, shelter, food, physical well-being. We have needs for connection, human connection, needs for autonomy and independence, like having our own choice and say in what's going on in our lives, and needs for fun and play and exploration, all these things. These are all common human needs. How we choose to satisfy them is where the conflict happens. Some people might not agree with how we satisfy our needs, and that's where feelings come in. When our needs are being met, we have positive feelings. When our needs are not being met, we have negative feelings. So this is an attempt to understand the feelings of these carnivores and the needs that they're trying to meet in their carnist/omnivore lifestyles. It's not about punishing vegans, it's not about punishing animals, it's about meeting needs. And this just happens to be the choice that they've made. So let's get a little better understanding of what's going on here. So hearing somebody say, this is the line that I have used as an example in order to empathize with the carnivore's dilemma, if you will. The line that I took was, I have to eat meat in order to heal my body. That's their statement. And now let's empathize with this. This feeling of hearing somebody say that they need to eat meat in order to heal their body, to feel the epitome of health, to feel like functional and also thriving, but also to achieve just a better state of being. It comes from a difficult place. The feelings behind that choice are not what we think as vegans. You know, they may feel conflicted that, you know, they're eating animal products. As somebody who does probably care about animal well-being, they're not psychopaths or sociopaths. They certainly do have sympathy for animal struggles, but that comes with inner conflict to choose to eat animal products. It may come with fear and confusion, fear of wanting to heal their bodies, confusion about, is this the best way to do it, and uncertainties behind their decision. There may be pain and hopelessness. Pain and hopelessness, like trying to heal your body to no avail and having to turn to an extreme diet of eating all animal products or a large majority of animal products. It's scary and worrisome for that person because it kind of does go against their beliefs in many ways, or they do have to sort of set aside other knowledge in order to get on board with it. So in short, there's a lot of pain and sadness and fear and confusion behind this decision. It's not coming from a positive place in many respects. If you look at Vegetable Police, he does say in the beginning that it's not a decision he's comfortable with, but he almost feels like he doesn't have a choice. So it does come from a very uncomfortable place to want to make this decision to eat a lot of animal products or just animal products. They're also missing out on a lot of delicious fruits and vegetables, grains and beans. That's not a choice that comes from a place of pure willingness. It kind of comes from a place of feeling like you have no choice. So that's something that I feel incredibly distraught for them, because I know if I were in that position, I would feel just so conflicted and distressed and sort of sad and upset that I'm in this place where I can't just eat whatever I want. I'm sort of forced into this corner where I have to choose between plant foods that bother my system and cause me a lot of internal problems, but ethically it's in line with my belief, versus having some animal products that relieve some surface symptoms so I don't feel like absolute shit, but your ethics are just in the gutter. You feel like guilty. So I'd feel very distraught, that is for sure. I can empathize with somebody who's eating a carnivore omnivore diet that does care about animals or does know some of the benefits of a vegan diet. It's a very difficult place to be in. The reason for these feelings are due to unmet needs. their need for physical well-being, to feel healthy and functional, their need for connection, feeling accepted and understood. You know how difficult it is to eat a diet different from everybody else and feeling like an outcast. And the feeling of having hope that shit isn't just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. They have that need for hope. And ultimately that need for choice and autonomy, that it's actually their choice, these dietary modifications, as opposed to having vegans force and demand them to not eat animal products and guilting them and shaming them. Like, when have you ever seen somebody make a positive change in their life based on fear or guilt or shaming? It has to come from a place where it is their decision. And yes, there are animals' lives at stake. However, if we're ever going to talk about animal welfare and animals' lives at stake, we first have to give people that empathy and that opportunity to recognize that it is their choice to change, that they are not forced to change, otherwise they will be burned at the stake just like any other animal. That's hypocritical. Ultimately, the purpose of meeting our needs is to have a happier and more meaningful experience here on this planet. So they are just trying to meet these needs of connection, of physical well-being, of autonomy, so that they can feel like happy, healthy individuals. They just so happen to choose an animal-based route as opposed to a plant-based route. And I think that's where the conflict lies, this ethical conflict, this conflict in debating the science behind plant-based nutrition. But if we step inside their minds and understand that they're just trying to meet some needs, and their need of some empathy for their struggle, maybe we can bridge some common ground a little bit better. Now, I understand for vegans that this is a very hard pill to swallow, to hear somebody say that they need meat to heal their bodies. We can throw at them a bunch of different science and different ethical arguments for why this is not the case, but as opposed to arguing with them on a fact basis, we have to come down to understanding them on a psychological basis. It's not necessarily about the facts that we're arguing, it's about the feelings and emotions behind these choices. And that's what we fail to understand. This comes from a place of an unmet need. You know, they want to feel healthy, they want to feel accepted, they want to feel hopeful, and they want to feel like they have some choice and independence in their life. And when we bombard them with these ethical and scientific and nutritional arguments, we're just further ignoring their cries for help. You know, again, it's not about condoning and excusing animal product consumption. It's about understanding that somebody's struggling here. And if we're ever going to reach out to them and help show them that, you know, you can heal on a plant-based diet, you can achieve all those things, all those needs you're trying to meet on an ethical plant-based diet, we first have to listen to them. We have to understand their struggle. We have to be able to say, it's not about me, it's about you. What are you going through? Let me hear what's wrong. Let me hear what's happening in your life. So if we're ever going to promote this vegan lifestyle or vegan diet, or help them gain the insight or information of a plant-based alternative to healing their issues or optimizing their health, we first have to listen to their feelings and needs before we are ever to tend to our feelings and needs. We have to listen to why they're a carnivore, why they're an omnivore, what are the feelings and what are the needs behind their decision, what is their struggle. You know, let's just put aside our needs and our animal welfare beliefs and our nutritional knowledge for just a hot second and just listen to somebody who's in pain, who's in struggle. And hopefully, after we listen to them, we can actually have a more heart-to-heart conversation about achieving those physical well-being needs, their human connection needs, and their autonomy, their ability to make choices, dietary choices on their own. So, in conclusion, trying to finish up this whole topic on a shift towards compassion for an ex-vegan, and other carnivores. Like the third time I'm saying this, but this isn't about condoning or excusing animal consumption. It's not about that, and it's also not about shaming militant vegans. They're passionate. They'll have their own video. I'll cover that in another video. But this video is about listening and understanding the struggle of people who don't follow a vegan diet. There's good reason. There's something going on there. And if we can gain better insight into their struggle for trying to achieve health, trying to soothe their symptoms, trying to find acceptance and some hope and some peace of mind, maybe we can sympathize with them a little bit more. Once we gain some understanding by empathizing with their struggle and listening to them and not pushing our own beliefs on them, but holding off for just a little bit, we can then address our struggle and potentially sit down at the table and inform them of a more ethical way, of a more ethical and a more plant-based way of tending to those needs, tending to their physical health, their emotional health, and their autonomy or independence for their own life choices. If they still choose to not follow a vegan diet, we have to respect that. That is part of their needs, is having the choice to say yes or no to something. And if they say yes to being interested in following a more ethical or plant-based alternative to healing their needs, that's where we can finally step in and help them. But it first comes to listening and understanding their struggles, and then offering them the opportunity to listen to our point of view and our feelings and needs, and then going from there. If they say yes, awesome. If they say no, back up, give them the opportunity to do some more healing, and then we'll revisit the conversation or something. It's a difficult thing to swallow, and I feel like we do need a lot more compassion in this world. We need a lot more compassion in this movement, and we're just going to see more people popping off of veganism, going to carnism, becoming ex-vegans. And if we're not taking it in a more empathic way, we're just going to make more divide in this community and more resentment. There's going to be just a bloodbath. So we got to bite our tongues as vegans to not shame people and push ethical and nutritional arguments down their throat. Listen to them, understand where they're coming from, and hopefully we'll have a more constructive conversation afterwards where we can offer advice to people who we finally understand their struggles. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to have a little more lighthearted video next time. But thank you for listening, and peace.